This video is part of the 2020 GRESB Real Estate Assessment Training Program. It will provide you with general information on how to complete the Entity and Reporting Characteristics section of the GRESB assessment. The section is comprised of indicators that identify the key characteristics of the reporting entity. In this video, we will cover the following indicators. First, we'll begin with indicator EC2 on the nature of ownership. Next, we'll go over indicator EC4, defining the reporting year. Then we'll provide further information on how to report the gross asset value. And finally, we'll look at indicator RC5, which defines the entity's core business. Indicator EC2 focuses on the entity's nature of ownership. The purpose of this indicator is to describe the ownership status and characteristics of the participating entity. It is very important to provide the correct nature of ownership because this status is used by GRESB to define peer groups and to share results. Data collected through the GRESB real estate assessment is only disclosed to the participants themselves and to A, in the case of non-listed property companies and funds, to GRESB investor members that are investors in the company or fund, using GRESB's data access request tool in the online GRESB portal. GRESB investor members must request access to a non-listed participant's benchmark scores, giving the participant the control to either accept or deny this request. And B, in the case of listed real estate companies, to all GRESB investor members that invest in listed real estate securities. The different types of nature of ownership captured by the GRESB assessment are listed, non-listed, and government entities. Listed entities are real estate companies, funds, or trusts that are identified on an international stock exchange. If your entity has a listed status, please provide the information on its ISIN. Note that GRESB real estate investor members that invest in listed real estate securities have access to the results of all listed entities that participate in the GRESB real estate assessment. Non-listed entities are private companies or funds that are not listed or traded on any stock exchange. Depending on their investment strategy, they can be classified as core, value-added, or opportunistic. Publicly traded closed-end funds should be considered as non-listed entities given their level of disclosure requirements. Finally, government entities are those that are managed by government agencies, such as the U.S. General Services Administration. These portfolios comprise of publicly owned, managed, and leased properties. Next, we'll go over indicator EC4 on defining the entity's reporting year. Responses provided in the GRESB assessment must refer to the reporting year identified in this indicator. The responses to all indicators must be true at the close of the reporting year specified here. However, the response does not need to have been true for the entire reporting year. GRESB does not favor the use of calendar year over fiscal year or vice versa, as long as the chosen reporting year is used consistently throughout the assessment and all relevant components. Participants who report on calendar year, that is, January 1st to December 31st, should select the calendar year option. If participants report on fiscal year, the starting month has to be specified. The responses provided must refer to the most recently closed reporting year. If participants report on fiscal year, the table on the right of this slide details the period for which information throughout the assessment would be expected. Now we'll move on to the reporting characteristics indicators. After specifying the reporting currency in indicator RC1, participants have to specify the entity's gross asset value in indicator RC2. The value has to be completed in millions and should reflect the entire portfolio's asset value at the end of the reporting year. It should also include the value of any development projects that the entity may have. The GAV provided here will be included in the benchmark report and will be visible to investors, for context on portfolio size. This value does not need to match the total GAV of assets included in the reporting scope for the purposes of performance reporting. Finally, we'll look at indicator RC5, which defines the entity's core business. The GRESB assessment is suitable for entities that focus on the management of standing investments, entities that focus on development activities only, as well as entities that do both. If an entity's core business is management of standing investments, participants have to select the first option in this indicator. This will allow them to complete the management and performance components. Instead, if the entity is involved in both the management and development of projects, the second option has to be selected. This will activate all three components of the real estate assessment: management, performance, and development. Finally, if the entity is involved only in the development of new construction and major renovation projects, the third option has to be selected. Entities that are only involved in development projects will be able to complete the management and development components. Once the correct option is selected and the relevant components are activated, participants can still choose which of the applicable components they submit. Thank you for taking the time to review this presentation. We hope that this video helped you get a better understanding of the entity and reporting characteristics section of the GRESB assessment. For any questions, you can contact us at gresb.com/contact.